Does the protagonist always need a character arc?
In my opinion, yes, but it doesn't have to be a big one, right? So for example, this is TV, so it's a little bit different. In TV, the arc can be like this big, right? It doesn't really have to go anywhere. If we think about House, the biggest thing for him is that he's like a curmudgeon kind of guy, like he's grumpy. I don't need to see him become joyful by the end of the series, right? But there may be something else in him that is gonna change tiny bit by tiny bit by tiny bit as the series goes. Whereas if you look at a show like Scandal, Olivia Pope starts with the white hat. By the end of the series, she's got a black hat, right? But that we get all of that time to see her grow. So what I say to people is, most of the time your protagonist is moving not because they just have an external goal, but because the internal goal is what really needs to be fixed. And as they're going along their journey and hitting complications, that thing is going to be fixing the inside. So even if they never reach the outside, they still have a great conclusion. And that doesn't have to always be, 180-degree kind of turn. Again, I don't want to, if I like you because you're grumpy, like, oh, here's a great example, Up. Right? If you think of the Disney movie, the Pixar movie, Up, he begins as a grumpy man, he ends as a grumpy man, but he's now a grumpy man with a friend, right? He's now allowed himself to be open for love. The journey was, I need to get this house to whatever falls it is, I can't remember, right? I need to get the house to the falls because that's where I need to be so that I can feel good enough because I told my wife I would do this and I didn't while she was alive. That's what it's about. Him feeling like guilty and bad because he didn't do what he promised his wife. That's why he won't talk to anybody. That's why he's grumpy. That's why he won't sell his house. That's why he won't do any of those things. And then here comes this kid who is a complication for him. But because he's now responsible for the kid, he has to eventually choose between house and kid. So does that mean if I don't get my house to where I said I was going to get it to, that I didn't keep my promise to my wife? Or would my wife also be okay with me saving the child from dying, right? So by the end of it, we now see this same grumpy man. He's got the same look on his face, but he shows up to this kid's pinning, and now we know he's changed. That's it. It can be something just that subtle. It doesn't have to be a whole 180-degree kind of turn. But also, if you're thinking about the inside, it's easier to show how that inside of you may change than it is that outside.